Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
We're not qualified.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
If you do not listen,
Then the hell with you.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 126th episode of Screaming Into the Void, the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today is Caucasian Sasquatch. How you doing, buddy?
Chilling like a villain, cheating, robbing, stealing.
Yeah. So, folks, we sorry about the lateness and the gayness and all of that, nonsense as the
It's
internet.
totally my fault. I
know.
was telling a completely entrancing story backstage, and you'll never hear it.
Yeah, we were having a pretty riveting conversation about what's actually more terrifying, a nuclear
Well, the
blast.
truth
or a
is,
great
I'm
bomb. But
starting
anyway,
out. I'm sorry.
it started out as like I just happened to mention something. We were talking about something totally unrelated, and I mentioned lost nukes, and the next thing I know, Sasquatch is arguing with me when I'm not arguing back. I'm like, I don't know. You're not. Why are you trying to convince me? That was good. It was good. It
I
was
have
good.
no defense for this. I have no defense.
Yeah. You kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. You're just like, hey, this motherfucker. So anyway, we are currently live on Twix, Rumble, and two separate YouTube channels. My channel, Samuel the Infamous, and the channel of my co-panelist, Caucasian Sasquatch. If you are in any of those places, feel free to drop a comment. We will highlight it as best we can as we go along. Yeah, welcome to the show. There's some stuff to talk about. It's a new year, new booms, right? You know. So the bomb thing will be relevant as we go along. But before we get too much further, I'm gonna throw up some chats here. Ejectar lad saying first, welcome in. I think Lawrence Knight actually posted something in the chat like right after I. No, wait, no, Jack. I think you would be first for this. That was last night. Never mind. You're first.
Don't swell that man's
Congratulations.
head like that. Do not do that to him.
Yeah.
It is inappropriate and
No,
wrong.
Look, I sleep was weird. I had some strange dreams, and some of my ability to differentiate how long it's been since the last time that this was a conversation has gone right out the window. Like time is all fucked up in my head. Welcome, Scotty Wattles. Good to see you. Yeah, Zillich with us. Hey man, good to see you. And I'm sorry, I accidentally skipped your name last night in the chat when I was going through. I don't know why it didn't register, but I did get it up there eventually. But I do apologize for that. Also for scaring the crap out of you with my new intro. Andrew Langlois, welcome in. I hope I pronounced that correctly. My French is not great because
It's better than I do, bro. You can't slaughter it any more than a Southern gentleman.
yeah, well, my French is not great because I think it's a stupid language. Oh, I did. Oh, well, good on me.
Right? So what's the haps, Caps? What's the news, Juve?
French
What's happening?
pronounce the OIS as wa.
Why? But why?
Well, we've got doubled. I think I might be
What up, baby?
having some issues here. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you're kind of glitching out a little bit. Do the things and the stuff you've got
Damn
to.
it. All right. Well,
If you've
shit.
got a
All right,
leak,
I will.
we can move on while you do this.
Yeah. Do I don't know, vamp impress the ladies or something while I'll be right back.
So no link. Okay, bro. I'll just free ball it. It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong? I'm gonna start rapping. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, my rap name's Heavy Cream. All right, so he doesn't give me any information about what shows are about, so I'm probably gonna end up like getting over here and do my Judge Judy impressions or something. I'm not really sure where to go at from this. Pronounced Lunglua, Lunglua, Langlua, 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 Langlua. Dude, you shouldn't be putting the words lung and glue in the same sentence unless we're getting high, because that just makes no sense. What's up, Stephanie Jinx? Welcome in. Hold on. I've got the ability to see this. Hey, I can't click none of these, but okay. 007, good to see you, bud. Nice to see you, Richie. Andrew. Zyron the Gamer. Zyron. Z-Iron. Zillage. Desert Goat, good to see you, bud. Yeah, no, I got abandoned. Everyone abandons Bigfoot in their hour of need. I'm not sure what the so I had an interesting show the last couple of nights. My channel's been going a little bit batty. The first night I hosted OTW, and for those of y'all who know that guy, it's an interesting turn of events. But after the show, Crispy Treats comes up, and she's been incommunicado in the drama sphere for like 2 months now because she conned a bunch of people out of some money. And then was like, yeah, I took your money.
Fair enough. I heard something about lung glue.
Yeah, no, apparently you're supposed to say lung glue wah. Lung glue wah for Langloy.
Lung glue.
Yeah, what stop that. You sound all gay and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll give you a baguette.
Right. You know, it makes me think of last night. We ended up having a discussion on Beelzebub about super glue and vaginas. it did not go well. I'm not going to go over that again, but just that's what it made me think of. It's like putting glue in places it shouldn't be.
No, sir. I don't even want to know.
Yeah. If there's anybody in chat that I have missed, I will try and
Jess. We miss Jess.
as you come in.
Jess is so cool. We miss her. Hi, Jess.
We miss Jess. Stephanie Jinx, come in. Hello, Jinx. Yeah, I'm
close enough.
I'm all keeping people's names up. Yeah, it is what it is. So, there was some excitement New Year's Day.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that went down. I completely avoided mention of all of it. If I saw bad things, I just avoided it because I was trying to have a good day.
Well, I'm here to ruin that good day. So, you know.
That was the other day. Today's not a good day. Let's do it.
All right. So, yeah, there was some excitement on New Year's. There was a Tesla truck that drove through a crowd in New Orleans. There was a Tesla truck that blew up in front of a Trump building in Vegas. Well, I say blew up. It's more or less intact, which is kind of hilarious. But you know, the only fatality, as far as I know, was the driver of said truck, who I believe shot himself right before the explosives went off.
Yeah.
There was another semi that was pulled over in. Give me just a second. I had it. But it wasn't. It was on that same day, I think. Outside of Greenville, or in Greenville County, South Carolina, they pulled over an 18-wheeler that had a reported bomb in it. So,
wait. Had a bomb reported to be in it, or reportedly had a bomb in it?
Reported to be in the truck. There was supposedly a bomb in the truck, so they pulled him over.
Okay. And it was there?
It's the thing, is they kind of memory hold this. It's the weirdest thing. There was this like big to do, like, oh my gosh, you know, there's a bomb.
That's
thing, but there
That's a
hasn't
really
been
weird
any
way to
follow up
phrase
on
it.
that story whatsoever. Yeah.
That's a really weird way to say it.
So
It
they say an
sounds like
18-wheeler
someone
with a
reported
reported bomb.
But it sounds like someone reported a bomb being in an 18-wheeler that didn't actually have a bomb in it. That's what
Well,
the headline reads.
it's so weird because apparently fucking CNN knew about this shit before the police did.
Nice. So here's the plan. Since all the news agencies know everything before anything happens, why don't we just make the police our press, and we can make the press our police, and then everybody can just get locked up all of a sudden because they already know what's going on before it happens, right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Well, here's the thing. It's like there has been, as far as I can tell, zero follow-up on any of that. Or if there has been, it hasn't been reported anywhere. It's just the weirdest damn thing. So I don't know if it was something else entirely, and there was just people saying that that's what it was, or if maybe somebody called in something because they had a grudge against the driver and it wanted to fuck his day up. Like it was just the weirdest thing. But it was on the same day. It was strange. So, or no, it was the day after. I'm sorry, it was the second, not the first. But yeah, lots of stuff happening. Lots of threats of splody.
Can I choose
some
where we
actual
start?
splody.
Does it matter?
Sure.
Okay, so the Tesla truck that did not catch on fire, the one that was supposedly set up to catch on fire, those batteries have an amazing amount of energy in them. They are highly volatile under the right circumstances, and in order to put one out, if it's been become reactant, the only way to really put it out is to either drown it in fire until the heat is taken off of it and the reaction itself stops, which is difficult because batteries are made of dense stuff, or just push it into the lake or the nearest body of water until it stops boiling.
Right. Well, this is, I don't know if some of the chemicals that they use for these EVs and stuff for the like the lithium, compounds and whatnot, they don't, you can burn that shit, but the water's not going to help. That's a metal fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you don't drown the oxygen, you take away the heat, and so you end up having to take like an axe to the battery box to get the water into it. And yes, this starts other fires. So your other option is to push it into the nearest body of water and wait patiently. And the chemicals that come off of that stuff is absolutely heinous, bro.
Yeah, that's actually one of the problems that they had with EV. Tesla in particular had with EVs when they first started rolling them out. Is occasionally those batteries would just catch fire for no fucking reason.
And they're highly reactive, dude. Those things will leave a glass segment of parking lot in the middle of the desert. Like,
yep. And it would always made me kind of chuckle a little bit is that the whole point of the EV or the hybrid was supposed to remove dependence on digging up fossil fuels and thus fucking up the environment and blah, 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 and all that shit. Do you have any, like, I'm sure but chat, do you know what happens with those fucking batteries? Because you can't do anything with them, right? And first of all, you have to mine a bunch of shit just to get the materials to make one of those things. And secondly, when they're depleted or whatever, the toxic chemicals and metals that are in it aren't going anywhere. You got to do something with them. Guess where they end up? They end up in a landfill.
Like,
it's actually much fucking worse for the environment to make these things than it is just to fucking go buy some gas.
Well, not only that, not only making it, but what's left over after the fact and the lack of viability for recycling these things currently. Because it has to be completely bogusly dead in order for you to be able to recycle a lithium battery. Because if you try to recycle it while it's still charged, it catches on fire. You got to break it up,
Yeah, it's pretty it's pretty crazy how much damage gets done just to make one of these fucking vehicles. And of course, Tesla's rolling them out nonstop. They're not the only company that's doing it.
The really disappointing things were what up, Rosla? Good to see you, bud. The really disappointing thing was the turbines, the wind turbine, the big fan blades. The amount of hey, Ezra, I'm
Yeah,
welcome.
huge waste of time and
How
money.
you doing? Yeah, those things are not only a huge waste of time and money. Once they break, which they inevitably do, like every 8 years or whatever, they have to be replaced. There's nothing we can do with them. They're just huge carbon fiber sinks of energy and manpower and effort. They're terrible.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's
Hey, Rello, what's up, bud?
those things are so fucking hilarious, man. You know, it takes like each of those blades is 182 feet long, right?
Right.
That it takes 3 flatbed trucks to haul those to wherever they're going in 3 different pieces. They have to be
Yeah.
assembled on site and they have to be attached on like it's a huge fucking process, right? And you know, they're made of you know, I don't know, fiberglass or
It's
carbon
carbon
fibers or
fiber,
whatever the fuck.
fiberglass. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's carbon fiber and fiberglass. None of that's good.
No, and they're they're up for I don't know however long they get
Like
damaged
8
by
years.
the elements, and then you got to take them down and replace them, right? Well, what happens with those blades? They all end up in a fucking landfill that's 180 fucking feet by however many they're stacking on top of each other. It's so fucking bad.
It's a bunch, dude. It's a bunch. It's so many, and you're not going to do an electric grid without nuclear power. That's a pipe dream, bro. That's a joke.
Yeah.
That you're going to end up either digging more coal or burning more oil to make the electricity than you would if you did a step down reactor. If you had multiple step down reactors, then you could burn the daughter elements of the previous process, which is just more power.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The whole thing's fucking retarded because in an effort to get people off of what, you know, works, what we know works, right? They're throwing these solutions out there that aren't really solutions. They're actually bigger fucking problems. And not only are they bigger problems, but even if they did work, they don't work very well. Right? You take solar panels, for instance, and I've gone off about this shit before. Solar
Yeah.
panels are just
Yeah.
the most useless things ever fucking created, right? Obviously, yes, you can capture some energy with them.
They
right?
have
That
their
entirely
place.
depends on the weather.
They have their
And
place. It is not in a city.
dude, they bleed off like 78% of all energy. They don't hold much. They don't capture much.
Sure.
You know, like
But they do have
more
their
energy goes into those than you can use. Like because
Yes,
it's
sure.
just unavailable to use.
I got you. I hear you. But there are circumstances where solar panels are the answer to whatever problem you have.
Well, yeah, if you
They
got a
have
solar
their
vehicle, you're
place.
stuck in a
So do
desert. Sure.
generators. Generators have their place. Most situations, a generator is more efficient than solar panels by leaps and bounds when you throw
Sure.
a dollar analysis at it.
Sure. And, but you know what do generators run on?
Sure, that's the flip floppy part because it's completely tied to the gasoline values and oil futures and shit. So you've got to weigh your
To a
if
degree.
you're willing. All right, here's what it comes down to: how much money do you have right now? Because if you have enough money to completely
$8.
solarize your life, I'm just saying, if you have the cash to completely go solar and you did it, you would have to do it again in 20 years. But if you roll like that, fine, do it. Shut up. The rest of us are going to go buy a generator for when the power plant goes offline.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
just, I don't know.
much
The whole thing's
beyond being
stupid. But like,
efficient, it's cheaper.
yeah, it is and it isn't. I mean, it's also tied into the fossil fuels industry as well because some of the materials used to make solar panels require petroleum, and some of the others require certain metals that you have to dig pretty deep for.
Cobalt's the one, man. Like, you can have this argument about any other type of resource, and none of it, even your diamond mines in South Africa and whatnot, have anything to a cobalt mine. Go check it out. Go look at what a cobalt mine is, what it does, and how it functions, and tell me
Right.
that's not inhumane.
Well, not to mention the fact that cobalt is a totally toxic heavy metal.
There is no upside to cobalt except it makes power transmission a little bit easier at low
Yeah,
temperatures.
that's about it. That's about it. But
That's
people
it.
who have to deal with it and work with it don't get to for very long. That's all I'm saying about that.
It's got a hell of a retirement plan.
You know? So, but in regards to that, this particular vehicle, when it exploded, the explosion looked, I think, worse than it actually was. You know, most of it was contained by the chassis, which is kind of hilarious because it's mostly stainless steel, and stainless steel is not great for containing anything besides, you know, turning into shrapnel. You know, but yeah, it just kind of like Musk himself was making jokes about how, like, I'm not sure he was even joking, but he said, "Yeah, we're going to take it back to the factory and buff the scratches out and get it back on the road."
So
Yeah.
stainless in a car is wrong. It's just wrong, except for in very specific places where I think maybe they should utilize some sort of because it's just not hard enough, man.
Right.
It's
You know,
just not.
and so it's the only reason that they're using it, honestly, is because I think Musk is a fan of the DeLorean. And I don't mean the
Yeah,
time
I
traveling
know.
one, I mean the shitty car.
Yeah.
Like, no, seriously, look at the Tesla truck's design and then look at the DeLorean and tell me he didn't steal some shit from that.
I know, man. I see it too. He was a huge fan of Back to the Future, I'm sure. I'm
Look,
positive.
we all were, you know, for that DeLorean,
Yeah,
but only that DeLorean. Yeah. That one was a
What?
time machine. It was cool as fuck, right? But the average one, like, you remember in RoboCop when they talk about the SUX 6000, right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what the DeLorean is. It's just it's a gas guzzling fucking piece of shit. Yeah. So
Totally
that's about it.
underpowered. Totally underpowered, man.
Yeah. Oh, give me.
Anytime you have a vehicle that's underpowered, you're gonna have people blow them up and burn them up and stuff. What's up, Carpenter's Journey? Good to
Right.
see you, bud.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. This is the footage of the explosion. You don't see anybody get hurt in this. I mean, somebody was, but you don't see it. But so YouTube, yeah, just be nice. But yeah, this is the
I like
actual
Shaggy.
event itself. You know, but I mean, look at that thing. That's like the DeLorean's Appalachian half brother.
Oh, don't be taking shots, dude. You don't want to go down that road. Because I'll throw an Appalachie. Jesus Christ.
Yep. So that's the footage of like what actually happened there. This is obviously taken
Okay.
off of somebody's computer because you know, but that's pretty.
Okay,
That's a pretty good
I'll go
looking
this
boom.
route. Homie didn't fail due to a lack of effort.
Yeah, it didn't happen to do as much damage as he was hoping for. You know, what's the interesting thing to me, right, is the fact that it's an Elon Musk vehicle parked in front of a
Yeah.
Trump-owned property, right? This
But-
is clearly a message. It wasn't about
Yeah.
necessarily hurting people. This was about, yeah.
Well, yeah,
that was the
fireworks
explosion was a lot
mortars.
worse than I heard it was. I think because he had the reportedly, in addition to accelerants, he also had a bunch of like actual fireworks bought from some fucking fireworks stand stashed in there too.
mortar-
I think that
firework
created more of
mortars,
the boom.
Hold
Yeah.
on. If you're talking about store-bought fireworks mortars, that's one thing. If you're talking about the ones that you can have like that you can order specialty done, that's a whole nother ball game. Those things, like I said, it wasn't a lack of effort that kept that thing from blowing up.
Right.
Like for real, because if it had got into that battery, it'd still be burning today.
Sure, but it didn't. luckily, but
It
look,
wasn't for a lack of effort.
from what I understand, these were not like military grade explosives. These were like fireworks. These were chemical accelerants, that kind of thing.
Technically
So
low explosives, yes.
what I'm saying is that the explosion, I think there's a lot of smoke and a lot of sparks, but I think that was mostly the actual explosion itself was relatively contained to the immediate area of the vehicle. It was not nearly as damaging as it appears to be in the video. Yeah.
Because he's a failure, it's good, I
Yes.
guess.
No, that is good. That's good because he didn't kill anybody else.
Or this could be a nod towards a bit of Tesla safety over here, because perhaps the safety features worked and prevented it from going turbo, right? I don't know, maybe.
Well, I mean, possibly, yeah. I don't know. I haven't driven a Tesla truck. I haven't been inside. I've only ever seen one, in person. So
Two.
I don't know anybody.
I might have seen the same one twice, come to think of it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's a thing. I thought I had an image of the aftermath. I'm looking for that now, of what the actual truck looked like after that. Because
Can I tell you my rap name?
Say
My
what?
rap name is Heavy Cream.
That
What's up,
sounds
John
dirtier
Nicola?
than it
Welcome
probably
to
is.
Make Stupid People Famous. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah. Where the hell did it go? I thought I had a. I guess I
stole it.
don't, folks. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of damage. It was mostly the back end of the vehicle was blown out. But the interior was more or less intact. Like this was another one of those examples, though, of like they found the guy's body in there and it was burnt to shit. And but for some reason, his identifying paperwork wasn't.
This reminds me of another one where they found him tied up to a tree, shot in the back 4 times, and it was clearly a suicide.
I mean, there was, I think there was a passport that was found mildly singed around the edges during 9/11 too, if I remember right.
Yeah, dude. It looked like one of those maps I made back in high school when I was playing D&D.
Yeah. So now I'm not saying that this wasn't like an actual message. This was clearly a fucking message, or it was clearly designed to make people think that in the first place. There is somebody behind this, obviously. It might be the guy who was in the truck. It might be somebody who put him up to it. It might be, I don't know, something else entirely. Who knows? Maybe they blackmailed his family or something.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does this seem to be glowing to anybody else? Why do I feel like in a week or 7, we're going to get a report from the FBI saying that he was on our radar and we were keeping tabs on him, but he just happened to get a hold to all of this stuff without us realizing it and set it off before we were ready. And I'm like, again? Like every time? Yeah. Really?
Like here's the image I was looking for. I did find it. But yeah, that's like the extent of it. It's not, the body's more or less intact. The none of the tires are deflated. You probably buff that out and fucking start driving it again.
How much do you reckon it'd be
as far as
worth?
I know, the engine is in the front.
Well, I mean, there's no engine.
I don't know. I know there's some
motors are in the wheels
out there who will.
Yeah. No doubt.
There's somebody out there who will definitely buy that. Same kind of people who would go around buying, like, John Wayne Gacy's childhood home.
I'm sorry, dude. I've got to take this challenge. Jay Rillo has laid a challenge in chat. You were probably playing 2nd edition D&D when it was new back in high school. Sir, I have an entire 1st edition collection of the whole thing. I've played everything up to, like, I guess 4. Anything after 4, I didn't really pay attention to. I do hate you, Gary, but I just hate these people more.
Carrie's not talking to you. He's talking to Kohai.
Yeah, but
He's
I
got
want
a
him to
real
know that I hate
bug
him.
up his ass about her not hating his guts.
That's fine, but I want him to know that I hate him.
Fair enough.
You know,
I think he knows that. That's just going to make his day.
I don't care how he feels about it. If I did, it wouldn't matter nearly as much. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyhow. So, the same day, and I do have some footage of this other thing, but I'm not going to pull it up because it does actually show people being harmed, and there's a toll terms of service thing about that. Plus,
Right.
I don't really want to watch it again. If I'm being honest. But a similar truck driven by a different man who rented it from the same place this guy rented his truck from, and who apparently both served at the same military base, drove through a crowd in New Orleans, ran a bunch of people over.
Didn't we shut down Tesla? I mean, if people are going to be using these machines of destruction to just wantonly kill people, we should make people have to have licenses and get a background check before they buy them. And like, isn't that how that works? Where's the moms against Tesla drivers? Wait, no, that's probably
Moms against Cybertrucks.
Yeah, moms against Cybertrucks. If it wasn't a thing, it will be by tomorrow.
Right? Yeah, that's I did see something the other day that was talking about liberal women versus like how all this happened. It's just if I find it, I'll bring it up. I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was pretty funny. It was basically spitting that back in their faces. Here's the thing: is banning the thing that was used, right, rather than addressing the problem. Why, who, how, what used it is like. I mean, I'm just gonna say this: it's like cutting off your dick to protest rape, man.
Right? Remember that super glue question we had earlier?
Yeah,
it's like that. It's like super gluing it shut to protest rape. That makes no sense.
It's like getting a vasectomy to protest abortion. It's absolutely fucking stupid.
Well, honestly, it's like outlawing hammers because somebody hit you with a hammer once.
Right? And, it's not that the hammer didn't do it.
The hammer didn't do it.
I saw a thing the other day that said that if guns kill people, then pencils misspell things.
Right? Yeah, you're gonna have to outlaw pencils because I keep misspelling
right?
my racial slurs.
Slurs.
I'm
probably gonna get flagged just for saying the word slurs.
Right.
So, and there was some concern around this that the people who were involved in this were, not American citizens. As far as I know, they both are. One of them is a second or third generation, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Now they were like, we do have. Here's the thing: we do have homegrown terrorists. They do exist. I would remind everybody of Timothy McVeigh, for example. Like they do exist.
There's still a huge section of the college and high school population who sit around debating on whether or not McVeigh was right.
You know what? There's a lot of shit about whether or not Ted Kaczynski was right, and he had a lot of great fucking points, but he punctuated those points with murder.
Yeah, murder is where it goes horribly wrong. You can have the discussion, but not the murder.
Right? Like, I'm not saying the guy didn't have some valid points. He was prescient as shit, but he didn't have to fucking blow people up. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's just it is what it is. But the fact is like we do have homegrown terrorists. They do exist here. Whatever else you might want to say about them. I know our good buddy Shadow was losing his shit about the New Orleans guy because his name is Shamsud. But
he's asking about that the Unabomber was framed or McVeigh.
I think he's talking about McVeigh.
Okay, they might have been framed. I don't know, but Unabomber basically, he did it.
Yeah, no, he absolutely did it. The reason how he got to that point is up to debate, but
I'm
yeah, man,
sorry.
it was definitely him that did it. Where the fuck was I, man? Before you jumped in?
I don't even know because I got fucking distracted like goddamn squirrel. Squirrel?
Yeah. All right. Anyhow, we did Shadow of Hawk. So Shadow went on a little tangent on Twitter the other day about like, we need to be rooting out people. He sounded more and more like a gripper, honestly. But the New Orleans dude who has been referred to as a jihadist, whose name is apparently Shamsuddin Jabbar, right? And like one of the points that Shadow brought up, and I kind of think this is an asinine point, kid, if you're listening, was clearly you can tell by his name he refused to assimilate. I was like, dude didn't choose his name, man.
Okay. I mean, yeah, no, you're not wrong. But it does seem like somebody near him might have chosen not to assimilate.
Sure. Well, his parents apparently, or his grandparents, or some shit like that, were immigrants. They came over and applied for citizenship status and all that stuff. So he was like first, second generation, whatever. So they wouldn't have moved past like those names anyway. What do you want him to do? Go down to City Hall and get it changed to Billy Jabbar? Like.
What would be all right? So this is totally off base, and you know how I do it. But I went to a bar one time, and I ran into this Asian guy dressed as a cowboy, and I sat there for a few minutes staring at him because I couldn't take my eyes off him because he looked like he just walked out of a bar in Texas, but he's in a bar in Georgia, and he's just this little short Asian dude, just as Asian as you can imagine. And I walk over to him because I can't stand it anymore. And I say, hey, man, I got to ask you a question. And with the brightest freaking Australian accent I have ever heard, he started talking. And I couldn't keep it together because the juxtaposition of what was taking place in front of me was so shocking that my brain couldn't make it real. Is that racism? I don't know if we lost Sam or if he's just in shock. I can't tell. I'm going to prefer the shock part of it. Does it matter?
Fuck.
And that's why we keep Shadow around, y'all, right there. You there, bud?
All right, just a second before I try.
We've lost him. That is the problem, right? That makes way more sense than him being shocked by something I said. Maybe a little. Welcome in, Scully. Good to see you, bud. Appreciate you coming through. Hit that like button. Send it to hey, everybody go click on whichever link you're in, like whichever live stream you're in, and go share it to whatever Mormon prayer group or Jehovah's Witness prayer group. If you can find one of them, that's the bestest. You get all the prayers. And there it is. Yeah, right. It's working perfectly. This show's going flawlessly. And if you say otherwise, I'll just lie to you. I mean, I'll tell you the truth that it's actually working. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how it works. See, it would help if he'd send me links and stuff, and then when this would happen, we could like continue going through the story or listen to the little video or whatever they got with him. But he just leaves me flapping in the wind, which honestly, I like the breeze. And I don't mind it. Do we have any people here in the Las Vegas area? Anybody? You down front? No? Nobody lives in Las Vegas? Okay. Everybody's visiting. Gotcha. Oh, really? Wow. Right? No, I don't blame you, Jay. I generally don't go whole hog personal. About as personal as I get when it comes to like work. If I'm working with people, is I will admit that I was raised Southern Baptist. I'm not a Southern Baptist.
Nor am I. Nor am I. Hello. Is it still bad?
No, it's good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just checking. Yeah. To what I was saying about Shadow, to your point about his family didn't assimilate. So fucking what? Right? That doesn't have any bearing on him or whatever. If he served in the U.S. military, he had to assimilate to a certain degree just to do that. Right? I don't think his name is an indication that his family didn't assimilate. I think that anybody in this country is capable of being radicalized into the kind of beast that would go and do such a thing. We all have it in us, all of us.
I think it's a little closer to the surface to some of us than others.
Sure.
If you're one of those people who are agitated while you're driving, who get mad at news reports, who scream about Donald Trump when no one else in the room is talking about him, you might be being radicalized by your media.
Sure. Sure.
It's actually Crystal Phoenix. I was raised alcoholic.
Was raised Catholic? Yeah. I was raised Mormon, which is funny because my father's Catholic, and I turned out to be neither of those things. So.
Damn heathen. You're literally heathen, bro.
Yeah. I might actually be the Antichrist. I've heard it said. Yeah, Shadow. Like again, dude, you were harping on this one point, dude, that you're not looking at all of the factors. You're saying it's like, oh, his family was from some shit third world country that makes them shit third world people. That means that he's a shit third world person, even if he was born here, and that's why he did his shit. It's like, no, that's not the fucking case. There are people in third world countries who don't go around fucking hurting people, right? You can't place that across the board. Yeah, that's like me. That's like somebody going out and saying like all Jews are evil and are trying to control the world. That's not true. It's flat not true. There are some evil Jews. Some of them are making power plays. It ain't all of them. Yep. There's the tinfoil hat. There's the tinfoil hat.
Just go ahead, bro. You're not going to get me. I brought protection.
Right. They're not going to microwave your brain, just mine.
Right. But that's okay, being an ancient one.
But that's...
I'm just a mythical creature. I have to protect myself.
I mean, microwaves are a matter of course in the void. It's just kind of part of the background static, whatever. So, but here's the thing. Is like, and I've said this before, it's like whether or not somebody is a Muslim, yeah, some of that will influence their worldview, sure. But the choices that they make are their choices, right? It's not Islam's choices; it's their choices. You still make those choices. Somebody joins, like an insurgency group or some shit like that. They choose to do these things, right? You got to lay the blame at the foot of the individual who committed the action, first and foremost, right? Because without their choice, however that choice happened, whether they were blackmailed, whether they were radicalized, whether they're just fucking douchebags, right? It doesn't matter how they got there. But the fact is that they made a choice. You need to lay the blame on that individual's feet. His family assimilating or not assimilating is completely fucking irrelevant.
Agreed. I mean, it's a weak stance to try to utilize for an argument in the first place, Shadow. That's exactly where they want white guys to go, is to, well, he wasn't an American, so he shouldn't get yada, yada, yada. He is. And he does. He gets it all. The whole kit and caboodle. In fact, you get it all, I get it all, we all get it all until we do something to abbreviate our rights. So that's kind of how this works. That's why I propose Manifesto's Destiny 2. Right? This is where we take over the rest of the world and implement the Constitution as the world rights. Just, you can't vote in our elections, but your children can.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know, man. I don't think it's that simple. I think that, like, I agreed that I'm a bit on the isolationist side. I think we need to close our borders. Everybody who's like here, who isn't illegally here, I mean, I'm talking about your legal citizens, your naturalized citizens, your born citizens, whatever. Those guys get to stay. Everybody else get the fuck out. And we need to take care of our own country before we even get further involved in talking to the rest of the world, let alone doing anything else, right? But that said, we've also spent the last 100 years being involved. We are tangled up in everybody else's mess. So it's not so simple as like third world this, first world that. It really isn't.
No, the
It
globalist
should be. I agree that it
is-
should be.
It's too overarching to make any sense at this point in time in our history. There is no true. I mean, the dollar has the global hegemony as far as economics, and it's a near thing currently. So there's really no way to implement it unless America goes along with it. America is the bulwark. Globalism will have to break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just, and look, there's going to be some people with names you don't fucking like. Right. That's going to happen. And sometimes these people with names you don't like are going to do some shit that you don't like. Right. That doesn't mean that the name is necessarily the reason that they did the shit. That's all I'm saying. So that said. Well, Shadow, that's the thing. We don't do it. We can't do it. It's impossible. We're kind of all fucked. And the sooner we all accept that, the better we'll all be.
Actually, your analogy there for chemo is bad. It kills bad cells and good cells equally, but there are more good cells in the body than there are bad cells, and so the bad cells die more.
That's what chemotherapy is a crapshoot, man. It's a crapshoot. The idea is to kill as many more bad cells than good, but you don't know that that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, you have no idea, dude,
Yeah, if a woman isn't wearing hijab, she's fair game to a fun. So if you're talking Islam fundamentalism, I want to make this clear too. There are 1.9 billion Muslims in the world. Right? That's a lot of Muslims. That's a quarter of the planet's population.
Right.
Right. Fundamentalist Muslims, or the radicalists, or the ones who like blowing people up and chopping heads off and shit like that, are a percentage of that. Right. Now, granted, even 1% of 1.9 billion is still close to 20 million fucking people who want you dead. Granted, I'll give you that. But it's, it ain't all of it. We can't assume that because somebody is wearing a hijab or is wearing, a burqa or is, praying 5 times a day, that they're going to blow you up. You can't make that assumption. I mean, you can't assume that they're all nice people either. That's equally asinine. You just got to treat people individually. When you encounter somebody, right, you encounter that person. You're not encountering their entire fucking culture.
When I started my channel, I had a Muslim prayer cloth that my wife's grandmother had picked up while she was touring Turkey back in the 1920s, right? And it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It is an amazing piece of art. And I show everybody that comes over here because I love showing that thing off. It is gorgeous. Anyway, I had it up behind me and I was telling jokes on YouTube. And apparently it was making some people angry. And I must have had 10,000, and I'm not exaggerating here, 10,000 death threats from people where I would respond, you're going to have to explain why. You can cut my head off, but you're going to have to tell me why first. I don't understand. Why are you angry? And finally, I had one dude out of the thousands of death threats I got. I had this one guy who explained to me that the first place is that location, and it is a holy place in Islam. This is another location, and that is another location, and this is what this is for, and this is why it's offensive. Oh, well, that makes perfect sense. Thank you. I'll stop doing it. But screaming that you're going to cut my head off says, don't make me send your mama the cleaning bills to my rugs.
Yeah.
That's not a threat. Do you think it's a threat? It sounds like a threat, but it's not as much of a threat as you think it is. So, like, either put up or shut up, or explain it to me, because I'm not unreasonable.
Right. So my goal today wasn't to get into it with certain members of chat who are sometimes panelists and stuff. And Shadow, for those of you who don't know, Shadow is actually a pretty good friend of mine. We argue about this shit all the time. We disagree heavily on a lot of shit. That doesn't mean that I'm mad at him or that he's mad at me or that we hate each other or anything like that. He might hate me a little bit because he is a bit on the fundamentalist side himself, and they're unreasonable, as he's saying.
He's like a little. He's a tiny person, like what do they call him? A child.
He's young. Yeah, that's true. Like what he's saying here, when you encounter someone saying talking points comparable to the talking points of someone who blew up a building, whether those talking points are Christian, Muslim, commie, whatever. Look, I get that, I do. But I've heard shit come out of your mouth that's comparable to talking points from Germany in 1942. And I'm not saying that you believe those things. I'm just saying that you said some things that are along those lines. That doesn't make you a Nazi, but
you're not quoting.
See how somebody using your logic would assume that you are one.
No, like I said, this isn't a case of history repeating itself, but it does rhyme.
Yeah. So yeah, no. It's just a bit of a conversation, but yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and I've said some shit, dude. I have said some shit that makes people think that I'm a bit of a pagan radical, in the past. Like getting revenge on the Catholics for the fucking 1,000 years of crusades and burnings and fucking forced conversions and inquisitions and torture and death and murder and blood and the wiping out of dozens of fucking indigenous cultures that no longer exist or have any members left alive to tell the story, right? But I don't actually mean to do that.
Yeah.
Hell, I wasn't even there at the time. Right. If I'm being perfectly honest, that's like the, people who go around saying like, oh, we need reparations for slavery. Yeah, but you weren't, your grandfather wasn't born yet. I was like, no, you don't. You weren't there. It didn't affect you. Right. This didn't affect me personally. So I have no call to go to war against the Catholic Church.
Wait. There's a chance here. If I'm supposed to be held accountable for things I didn't do 400 years ago, can't we hold everyone else accountable for things they didn't do 1,000 years ago?
I mean, you could, I guess, but it's equally stupid.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll agree that it's stupid.
So yeah, it's just, I am a pagan radical. Well, I mean, I think radical is probably pretty extreme. I'm not advocating for like eye for an eye, let's burn them all at the stake kind of shit, which would be kind of funny in a very sick, poetic sort of way. But I'm not advocating for any of that shit because that's not how I mean it. And I'm no longer in a place in my head. Like, dude, kid, when I was your age, Shadow, I was very, very much full of this kind of vitriol, this spit and vinegar, this tendency towards violence first and maybe a question later. Time tempers you. Time and life and family. You'll see. You'll get there.
Travel has an amazing ability to make people who have bad ingrained habits. It breaks ingrained habits. If you travel and meet other people and see how other people do things and you witness the functionality of their lives, it is hard to stand in the face of that and still remain an ignorant, racist pig.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Sorry about the tangent, folks. It just kind of got there. I let it get there, and it's all on me. So it is what it is. We had some other stuff, but along those lines, I did see something actually that I think would make Shadow very happy and actually tickles my funny bone quite a bit. So I'm going to share that here. in terms of border protection. I think this is pretty good. Vlad had it right.
Yeah, but his
Bad
fences.
neighbors make good
Ooh.
fences. It was good.
Ow.
I just saw this a couple hours ago. It made me chuckle pretty hard. Yeah. Vlad had it right for Romania at that time. It's, I wouldn't say that you could apply that today, because do you have any idea how many people we'd have to stick on stakes to cover the borders of this country? It's a long goddamn border. Romania's like the size of like Iowa, dude. So yeah.
But at the same time, imagine that Canadian border.
Right.
Ew.
I mean,
Like-
you know what? And it lasts longer up there because of the cold. It would preserve them.
Oh, you're cold, dude. You're savage. We're talking economics now. This is logistics, and I'm not sure I can approve.
Oh, no, I do think we need to seal the Canadian border too. Fuck the Canucks. No offense to my Canadian friends in the chat, but yeah, we need to fix our own shit before we get involved with yours. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's just start. No, dude, I'm telling you, this goes right back to Manifest Destiny too, where we just start charging them taxes and make them another state.
Here's the thing. Canada, like John Danicola is saying, are you talking about our 51st state? So we can't let that happen. Canada's full of like loonies and lefties. And I know that there are people who would argue against that, but y'all kept fucking voting Trudeau in. Right?
We can fix that. This is easy. What you do is the people who are there today cannot vote in our elections, but their children will be able to after they've been, in the nation long enough. Yeah, properly conditioned to be good Americans.
But here's the thing. Like Canada's total population is like a little bit bigger than the population of California. That means they get as many fucking electoral college votes as California does, unless we break Canada up into separate states.
I'm down for breaking California up into separate states. Like
I think a lot of people are.
I'm down. We totally break Canada down so that Alaska can maintain its dominance as the largest state. Yes. Just for looks reasons, and so we don't have to rewrite history books. And that's the only reason.
Yeah, and like I said in a previous show, you Canadians out there, I mean, we kind of still owe you for that whole burning of the White House thing.
Yeah, no, we haven't forgotten about that. That's still in our history, but I know y'all edged that one out. Y'all don't teach about how you burned the White House, out of sheer fucking raw petulance. It was nothing else there. It wasn't like they were just like, they're gonna push us back, mates. Let's burn the joint. It was just Pookie. Let's burn this shit down. That's what it was. It was just petulance.
Who is moi, or woe is moi, asks, what is your most controversial take? I don't know. I'm sure Sasquatch has probably got a better handle on his than I do mine. I say a lot of shit, and sometimes I don't remember the shit that I say. So,
I think my most controversial take, honestly, is that and I've said it already in this program, if the globalists are going to come at us with the whole globe, let's hit them with the globe back. How many people who are downtrodden and poor? Have you ever read the sign on Ellis Island? You're downtrodden, you're poor, you're huddled masses, right? Those are the people who make the best American citizens. I know that it sucks, but when you've got people who have been held down by a tyrannical regime long enough that they are willing to get rid of everything they own and walk their happy ass to America, you got something good over here, bro. And that person is not a complete loser because they left their home or whatever. They are dreaming of something better, and I can respect that. What we can't do is assimilate the entire world all at once. And so Manifest Destiny 2 was born. You want to go global? Let's go global.
I mean, like personally, I think we need to pull back. I'm an isolationist, but if they keep calling us a fucking hegemony, we might as well start acting like one and start annexing bitches.
Point. You want an empire? Okay, fine. Empire.
I think Andy nailed my most controversial take. This one's gotten me into a lot of trouble, but yes, all cats are bastards. There isn't a cat alive that isn't some kind of bastard or other. They just if you got cats, I mean, I'm sure you love them, but those little shit stains are just waiting for you to keel over so they can eat your eyeballs.
They want your eyeballs. It's true.
They're only polite because you provide them food. They don't love you, and the fact that you love them is probably has more to do with the fucking parasite infection that they give people than it does actual love. That's all I'm saying. All cats are bastards. Fuck them. From the biggest tiger on down to the smallest tabby. Fuck all of them. All cats are bastards. That's probably my most controversial take ever. It's gotten me into a lot of shit with some of the panelists that come on this show, I might add, who's probably listening right now as she travels across the country. Hi, gal.
She just threw her phone, and somebody looked over at her and thought she was crazy, and she gave her that face.
Yeah. It's not, Aaron, it's not just gal that's got me in trouble with. It's gotten me in trouble with like family and IRL people, and Mira's yelled at me a bunch of times about it. There's you'd be surprised how many people on Twitter really love their cats. So that's my most controversial take probably ever. But I stand by it. All cats are indeed bastards. Mudcrab knows. He's out there.
I mean, just look at it this way: when a big cat catches a human, they don't kill them immediately. They lay on top of them and smother them. And if they don't do that, they'll pull their shoes off and hold on to their calves and lick their feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You ever felt a cat's tongue?
Yeah.
After that, when you try to get away, you leave little bloody footprints everywhere you go, and they don't have to track you hard, and they can catch you real easy because you're not moving real fast at all.
Yep, they're even bastards to each other. I mean, not for nothing, and I don't want to get too deep into this, obviously. Oh Jesus, that was a terrible pun given what's coming. But a cat's penis has barbs on it, right? When you hear the cats yowling as they're mating, she is not screaming in pleasure. It hurts, and she's trying to get away from him. They are bastards all around. They're even built like bastards anatomically. So, but here's my best argument to support this. So cats, like a lot of animals, can sense things coming, right? Certain things, certain changes in the atmosphere and the barometric pressure. They can feel earthquakes days before the waves of moving Earth actually hit, right? But do they fucking warn us? No, they don't, because they're bastards. Dogs will let you know, right? Dogs are kind of dumb, but they're loyal.
Hey, bud, something's up, and I'm really freaking out. Why are you freaking out so much? I don't know. Let's go for a walk.
Right? Something's coming. That dog will let you know. But the cat, he'll just sit there and stare at you and be like, I hope the fucking door crushes you this time. Squishes them tasty eyeballs out. Like lap them up off the floor. Yeah. Fucking cats. Anyway, to answer woe is moi's question, that's probably my most controversial take ever. They don't warn you, dude. They think they're above you. You're replaceable to a cat. Like, and
they don't even need you at all. They don't need you at all. They can live all on their own. They can go out and eat bugs and crickets and birds and anything else that they can eat garbage in the cities, man. They're better raccoons than raccoons, but they choose not to do that. Instead, they infest your house, infest your life, and infest your brain with some type of plasmosis thing.
Yeah, it's a parasite. It's a mind control parasite.
It's in your head.
Oh, look at the cute fuzzy little thing. I want to pet it and all that stuff and feed it and take care of it. And they're like, I got it fucking made now, bitches.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. Accurate. No lies detected.
Yeah. Nope. And they're and this is our fault, right? As a species, right? If the Egyptians hadn't started worshiping them as gods fucking 6,000 years ago, we wouldn't be in this position. We let them get a big head, right? They probably still would have been bastards, but they would have felt less entitled about it.
I think this says more about you than it does about cats, bro.
I'm sure it says all kinds of shit about me. I don't like cats. This is not a secret. Oh man. Anyhow, that's I might actually cut this whole section of the conversation out and like post it as a separate thing. I think that's pretty hilarious. Oh man. Yeah, there was some other stuff I had that was probably a little less explosive. There was another bombing, I think, on New Year's Eve in Germany as well. Like Germany's going through some shit.
Couldn't happen to a better place.
Yeah, it's starting to look like war over there a little bit.
Yeah, I
with all
mean,
the shit
that
they're
whole
going-
EU concept with the open borders and the non-assimilation of various peoples into new areas and whatnot, dude, you can do that a little bit, but there is a critical breaking point where suddenly things look very much like where they came from instead of like where you came from.
Right. Let's see. They do have some footage of some of that too. We're gonna pop that up on our screen here. No, this was New Year's Eve in Germany, which I think was actually New Year's Day in the States because they're 9 hours ahead of us. But or the other way around. It was the other way around. That's a big one. So, does this remind you of Beirut, Lebanon in the 90s
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah. I was just thinking this looks a lot like the Grand Theft Auto 4 citizen riot and citizen weapon codes.
Right. It is there's just and
That sounds
kinda hate
like
to
an
say it, like-
M42 mortar. Who's shooting mortars, bro?
yeah. Well, it would be some of the people who are not assimilating, as Shadow's so fond of saying. What's interesting is that while we have a border crisis in this country and we're being flooded daily with like bunches and bunches and bunches of people, and there have been a lot of incidents with people since then, and obviously like the Venezuelan gangs taking over like in apartment complexes and shit like that. There have been some things like that, but we're still, and maybe it's because of the size of this country, but we're still not seeing things quite on this scale, right? Over there, your immigrants are not hiding, they're not waiting, they're not blending in, they're not doing any of that stuff. They're right out in the fucking open, blowing shit up, stabbing people. There's rape gangs, there's all kinds of shit. It's nasty,
There's another consideration here. When you're talking about the hinterlands of a European city, it's basically equivalent to our suburbs. We have hinterlands where there are no one, right? There's nobody out there to say what's going on out there. So there's places in America for people just to move into and no one ever know that there's a disagreement in the first place. That's not quite so true when it comes to European cities.
right? Eurovoid? I mean, I suppose you could probably make that argument, sure. I'm
Much
not
love,
sure what you
CJ.
mean there, buddy. I would try to pronounce the name, but there's kind of a lot of, I think it's Al-Salam Alaikum Waramat Allah Wabarakatuh Kata. I don't know. I don't speak Arabic, so if I messed any of that up, I do apologize. But it's a lot of name. It's a lot of name.
What's up, Joko? Welcome in, bud. Good to see you.
Yeah. Ice is building up. You know what? We've got it out here too. We had this winter weather roll in last night that didn't drop any new snow, but it did frost every tree. They all look like white crystalline structures right now.
Just like home.
Right?
That void between spaces where only the crystal creatures create.
Yep. Carpenter's Journey is taking off. All right. Have a great night, man. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. We've got Shadow of Hawk jumping in. How's
What
how's
up,
the
baby?
Ladyboy Central?
Funnily enough, I haven't actually seen any.
Well,
Yeah, you
that's
just
'cause
don't
you're in
know
Taiwan
this.
and not Thailand.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm aware, Sam. I was being racist. How you doing? Yeah, no,
You're
it's-
always being racist.
60% of the time. Yeah, but when I'm around like French or German or Russian or whatever, I'm not. I am perfectly congenial and nice.
So you're an American citizen, right?
So, yes, even though I feel like I haven't done anything to earn it.
So your kind of obsession with ancient European, doctrines, politics, policies, and whatnot, would that and modeling, certain aspects of your life after them, would that not count as not assimilating? Oh, he muted himself.
It's because he doesn't love us anymore.
I mean, he didn't really love us to begin with. Let's be real.
That's true.
Neither one of us is a buxom blonde babe, with certain morals and values that align with his. Like, it's just, I think that's the only way that love's coming out of that kid. Along with other viscous fluids.
Noted. Move on. Complete the mission.
Fair enough. His microphone's not working very well, so he'll rejoin as soon as he can, I suppose. But
Maybe.
even so, welcome to the show. We have some fun. We have a lot of fun at his expense, actually. So if you're not familiar with that, we're not actually paying me.
Look, I don't pick on anybody.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
I got you.
I don't like them. I'm not going to mess with them. I'll just
Right.
not interact with them at all. But if I like you and I'm giving you, if I'm razzing you up and I'm giving you trash, just smile and let it happen, because that means I like you. We're good peoples.
Hail, Blindy.
Actually, Blindy, I have read Marx, and I did not like what he had to say.
He didn't say Marx. He said Kant.
Oh, I thought that was a misspelled Carl.
No, Kant is a different philosopher.
Yeah, I don't know.
Had some things in common, like with Marx, but yeah, different guy.
Wait, was that the Russian who was like?
No, he was
Hey.
French. His name was Immanuel Kant.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of someone completely different. Yeah, no. Sorry, I caught a little bit of the question you were asking, and it was like related to my love of like ancient European politics and that relating to assimilation. Was that correct?
Yeah. I was just making fun of you. It's not that big a deal.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought that. Yeah, no. Yeah. Though guilty as charged, I do love ancient politics, and I see very scary parallels to modern day. I don't like the parallels. When we go back to the Hyborian age, I would prefer the Hyborian age to what we have now. That is a lot more fun.
Well, sure, except that the Hyborian age is 100% fictional.
Fuck you, no, it was real. It was
True.
real.
No,
Don't,
it wasn't.
Do not, no, Sam. Santa Claus was taken from me. The Easter Bunny was taken from me. The fucking Norse gods were taken from me. Don't take away the Hyborian age from me.
I'm over here. I'm right over here.
I only have the Hyborian age and Toyota-san. Don't take this from me.
So Toyota and Honda are going to joint merging, and so there would be no longer be a Toyota-thon. It'll be something different.
Well, now all I have is the Hyborian age then.
No. See, you've already clarified that part. That was fiction.
No, it wasn't.
Fiction.
No.
Fictional.
No.
Oh man, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Why would you go with Toyotathon of all things?
Because there's one meme that just keeps showing up in my Twitter feed, and it's like the Chad face, and then like the crying NPC, and it's the crying NPC going, "You know, Christmas and Easter were pagan festivals co-opted by Christianity, right?" And the Chad goes, "Stop talking, or we take Shark Week." What? We have Shark Week now. If you want Toyotathon, walk away. And that's just on the mind.
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting that you bring that up. There was a post. Razorfist put out a post the other day that had a kind of an interesting piece of information that I thought was relevant to some of this. I'm going to try and bring that up now, and we're going to listen to it. Because the claim is lately that America is a fundamentally Christian nation. It's not. There are no Christian nations, and this guy explains why. And I think it's pretty relevant. Before I bring him up real quick, let me grab his name here.
Understood, Aaron, and I do agree.
Yeah.
It'll be
Hold on
glorious.
just a second. I don't actually have the guy's name. We just have the audio, so we're just going to go with that. But perhaps somebody in chat will recognize him if he doesn't say his name in this. But anyway, here we go.
I'm reading a book now. It happens to come out of InterVarsity, incidentally, and they're my friends, and I'm theirs. But it is written by a missionary and a couple of missionaries, I guess.
A.W. Tozer.
And they're terribly hurt, these two boys, because of what communism has done to the church. And as I read the book, I've got a feeling that they've been stunned and shocked by the fact that the church is not fulfilling her purpose. Well, I'm not going to let any communist make me ashamed of myself. I ought to be ashamed of myself before the Lord. I haven't been as good a Christian as I should have been. But because I haven't been able to bring peace to the United States, I'm not going to be ashamed of it that I'm an American Christian. Because I can't bring peace to Canada, I'm not going to apologize to the Governor General. Because the Lord never sent me to bring peace to any nation. He sent me to preach the gospel of Christ and take out of the world a people for the name of Christ. And when a people has been taken out for the name of Christ, baptized into the body of Christ and made into the church, and that church is fulfilled and she's reached her full size, then there will be a sound of rustling of the wings above, and our Lord shall come for his people. I believe in that. And I'm not going to allow old Khrushchev or Stalin or any of the rest of them to shock me and make me frightened. I'm not going to allow the dark nations of the world that have turned now on the white nations who claim to be Christian and say, you're not Christian. Of course they're not Christian. There isn't a Christian nation in the world, ladies and gentlemen. There are nations where the preponderance of religion is Christian, and it's true of England, it's true of this country, it's true of the States, it's true probably of Australia and New Zealand, and of Germany, and of Italy after a fashion. But there are no Christian nations. They're Gentile nations. They're the nations of the world. Have you noticed that the nations do not have for their symbols? Do you notice they don't have a lamb or a dove anywhere? I was brought up with an eagle. Everywhere you look, you'd see an eagle there with his mouth wide open and his claws. Eagle. Russia has a bear. England has a lion. We, the nations of the world, have not chosen the lamb and the dove. They've chosen the eagle, the bear, and the lion, and the dragon. Because they're Gentile nations, not Christian nations. They're Gentile nations in whom there are Christians.
I think he makes a solid point.
Oh, absolutely. And how do I phrase this? Because I definitely agree with what he is saying on the ground. So if there is no nation that made its law code directly to what it says in the biblical teachings, because that's frankly impossible. You could not do that. It's the same because anything built by man would not hold up to the standards of the biblical traditions. However, you can make the argument that nations like Britain, Germany, France, America, whatever, are rooted in Christian principles, though they are also rooted in the primarily Germanic, but also groups like the Franks, the Iberians, the Scots, the Nords, other groups like that, rooted in their secular law codes and certain aspects of their spiritual traditions, which is where we get the modern concept of democracy, as opposed to the aristocratic version that you saw from Greece or Rome. So a country like America is more of a blending of the pragmatic Germanic outlook of the world, tempered by the Christian moral code, and then a few other things tossed in based off the experience it had, like the frontier pioneer spirit, or the tolerance of other groups due to its nature as an immigrant, due to the large number of immigrants that came to the nation from various parts of Europe originally, and then later other parts of the world. That would be my response. So I agree, but slightly different reasons. To the
Look, I'm not saying that that the West doesn't have like a foundation in Christian culture, right? It absolutely does, right? Most of these nations were founded by people who were at least adjacent to believers, right? But they are inherently not in and of themselves Christian nations. So when we go around, we say to somebody that was like, "Oh, America's a Christian nation because it had, you know, Christian principles in the founding." It's like, no, that's absolutely untrue, right? If it was a Christian nation, we would have been a theocracy from the beginning. Our government hall would be a church.
I mean, it kind of is. It's kind of become that. Just not.
No, I mean like a genuinely like a real church. Like people would go to church there. Like it would be church. Church would be it. You know, God would be the head of the government, kind of thing. You know, in a way that, and honestly, you could probably make the same argument for a lot of so-called Muslim countries as well, because, like, you know, there are countries that are predominantly Muslim that aren't really, like, you know, adhering to everything that they're supposed to be doing under that religion.
Oh, absolutely. Khomeini would be rolling in his grave, and I've got class in a little bit, so I should probably bow out.
Oh, fair enough. We probably won't be going on a whole lot longer. I don't have a ton of stuff for today, and we kind of ranted and raved and went all over the place as it was. So this is going to be a short one, folks. But before we bow out and whatnot, Shadow, you got stuff you want to plug? You got anything upcoming that you want to talk about? You want to tell us all of the regaling tales of the dyed blonde little Asian girls you've been chasing?
Well, I haven't had much time for that specifically, though when I do get back and recover from jet lag, I'll be compiling different pictures and videos I've taken here into kind of like a, hey, this is Taiwan type video, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be posting sort of like test chapters for a book I hope to have published by May, so that'll be nice. And then just when I get back stateside, should be some random stuff. Andy Pickle will be happy because there'll be some reading streams I'll be doing of Black Company, which will be nice. And then not XCOM, Xenonauts, D&D, that sort of thing. But that'll be probably after the 12th is when you should start seeing content again.
All right, looking forward to it, man. Everybody go check out Shadow's channel. His link is in the description below on my YouTube channel, on the live stream itself, along with a bunch of other people, including Caucasian Sasquatch as well. And all that, but yeah, definitely go check out his stuff. He's got more stuff incoming. Somebody's laughing. I don't know what's going on. I never know what's going on. I feel like Joe Biden.
Aww.
You know, I'm lost. I'm lost amidst wolves.
Yeah.
Video. Yeah, no. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for letting me on, and I do apologize that a good 30 minutes was spent responding to my schizo posting on Twitter.
No, it's fine. It makes for good content.
Well, in that case, I expect 10% of this stream's revenues, so I expect $0 sent to my Cash App by the end of the week.
Yeah, that's not how communism works, buddy.
Who said communism?
Now get in your mass grave and shut up.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, everyone.
And take this bullet with you.
Yeah, all 6 of them.
No, you're not worth
No,
6. We're trying to get rid of these people, not make them more valuable.
Well, that's the thing. Is I'm not sure I would even expend a bullet there. I'd probably just like make him lie down in the grave and cover him with dirt. You know, it's cheaper.
Hey, Clean Bird, welcome in, bud. Appreciate you coming through. So what else you got?
So yeah. Not a lot actually. That was pretty much the be all and end all of it. Like I said, we probably won't be going on a whole lot longer because I don't have a ton of stuff today. Just whole world's gone fucking crazy and they're showing their ass again. So yeah, I was hoping to have some more interesting esoteric topics, but I got sidetracked like everybody else did with all of the pretty lights that happen in the middle of the week, and
Right.
yeah, like you made a pretty good point backstage before we started about how it's like you see all this shit in the news and you kind of wonder what's not in it.
Yeah.
I'm
What's
just
being
guilty of
up by
anybody
all
else.
these pretty flashy lights that's going on up here? They're like, look at this,
Right.
look at this, look at this. What's happening that they don't want us to look at? That's what I want to know about.
Right, and that's a valid point. But like I said, I'm as guilty as anybody else getting distracted by the flashy lights this week, and I didn't. So it is what it is. So I think what we're gonna probably show this one last thing because I think it's neat. But that's about outros, and we'll get you all on out of here. But this is what's called some kind of Taylor bird. Hold on a second. It's the common Taylor bird, right? These things, I've never seen this before in my life until a couple of days ago. It's wild, right? Apparently, birds know how to sew. So we're going to bring this up. There it is. All right, now check this shit out. He's just sewing him a little nest.
One of my little science reports in high school was on the Taylor bird.
Yeah,
because
it's like I'd heard the name, but I'd never actually seen this shit. But this is wild. Apparently, he's using spider silk and plant fibers for the thread.
Yep. Depending on where they're at,
where do they?
Different stuff.
Yeah, like where do they get this? Are they farming spiders for their silk? Is that what's going on?
Well, think about how many spiders are out there between the branches of trees. They're mainly going after the ones that are at least 24 hours old so that it doesn't stick to their beak so much.
Yeah, sure.
So farming.
What's interesting here is as we're looking at this, right, is that you'll notice all of the leaves that are being sewn together are all still green, still attached to the living branch, right? Still growing off of it. And they're all facing outward. So as to kind of like create the illusion that it's not a nest, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, lyrebirds are neat too. And you can really mess with lyrebirds if you bring in, like, lyrebirds collect things of certain colors, so they'll build a pile of leaves that are a specific color or whatever. But if you bring something unusual in, like say a button, and you put it in the lyrebird's area, you can start a war over that button. All of the male lyrebirds will either decide that it's a good thing and try to steal it from each other,
right,
or not.
Yeah, it's just there's some weird shit out there in nature, sometimes, and like we'll have conversations, particularly on Abyssal Musings, about some kinds of wildlife, and I do know some things about some wildlife, but there's a lot of shit I don't know, and I was not aware of this until a couple of days ago. I just thought that was the neatest damn thing I'd seen, and I'm not even a bird guy. I don't even like birds all that much, but that was pretty fucking cool. I want dishwashing elephants. yeah. Like Flintstone animals great again. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So with that cute little video there, that's less about awful shit and more about neat stuff. We're gonna probably end the show here. So Sasquatch, do you have plans coming up this week that you want to let people know about?
Tuesday we're doing the Naughty Corner in the the vertical mode again, and hopefully my co-host will actually show up and be there, and it'll be cool. That's American Justice of Texas. I haven't really scheduled anything out next week. I'm talking to a couple of folks trying to get them in for a Sasquatch Shills, but nobody trusts me. So, you know, it takes a little while. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it. So
I did a Sasquatch Shills. Yeah. I did a Sasquatch Shills once. It was a lot of fun. I encourage folks to go on his show and do that. It was a good time. So, and then I went on somebody else's Sasquatch Shills, and I talked some shit while I played video games in the background. That was fun too. But anyway, as for my part, I'm Samuel the Infamous. You can find me on the YouTube channel of the same name, also on the Rumble channel of the same name, and on the Twix, on the old Twix at hentai_surprise, all lowercase. And yes, I know what that sounds like. I get a lot of shady accounts following me because of that name, because they don't seem to get the joke. So it is what it is. Anyway, but yeah, you can find me here, there, and everywhere. I should be on later tonight on Exiled Lioness. I haven't checked yet, but I do believe there's supposed to be a live stream over there tonight on Exiled Lioness too. And then I don't think I have anything else planned until Monday on Adam the Renaissance Nerds channel. I'll be over there for Mellow Mondays. And then next Friday, Abyssal Musings right back here on Samuel the Infamous. We go into Beelzebub immediately after that on Beelzehub, and then right back here again next Saturday for Screaming Into the Void. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the whole week. Appreciate all of you guys coming, everybody in chat for hanging out, chatting, talking shit, you know, whatever, you know, calling me an idiot because I did kind of go off some weird fucking tangents today. Fine. I do talk out of my ass on occasion. Ask Kerry, he'll tell you. And then yeah, just appreciate all you guys. Thanks to Shadow for hopping in for a little bit, and Caucasian Sasquatch for being here, being my steady every week. You know, it's almost like we're going steady on the internet.
I know. I'll send you flowers
thing.
eventually. You can buy me a drink, and maybe I'll let you cuddle.
Right. So that said, remember YouTube, Rumble, Twix. It could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time.